I'm Michelle Ryder, editor of PrintIT Reseller. I'm here today with Andy Bryant, EMEA Sales Director at Vasion. Andy, hello, good morning, welcome, and thank you for joining me today.
Good morning, Michelle, and thank you for having me.
I think a really good place to start is maybe by talking about Vasion's strategy and strategic direction to enable digital transformation for everyone.
Okay, that's a great question. Moving to Vasion in November 24, so about 20 months ago now, something that's really sunk in with me is how the company top down really believe in the vision. And Ryan Weddick, our CEO, is passionate about making digital transformation attainable for everyone. And there'll be some areas within the technology that make that attainable, which is obviously a cloud-ready architecture. So the ability that we can be agile, we can scale, it's cost-effective. So that's taken Corey, the CTO, probably 7 years to rebuild our architecture to be cloud-ready. It's a very important factor. The software is also designed to be very intuitive and easy to use. So it's low code, no code, which is very important. So the normal things there around the technology that make that vision possible. But what really impresses me is Ryan, the CEO, when I first met him, is very passionate about generally bringing that to life. And that flows down through his exec team and every employee, which is really important. So everyone generally believes that we're on this journey to make digital transformation attainable for everyone. And another thing Ryan does, which I think is quite impressive, is when he says everyone, he works with a lot of not-for-profit organizations in Africa, in the Philippines, in South America. And he works with these organizations to truly see and test our technology to see if it really does work for everyone. And Basics is a great case study that we now have, you can find on our website or on YouTube, where we work with Pat, who is the founder of a charity, children's charity in Chawka, a deprived area of Ghana. And Ryan's now worked with her for 18 months to use our technology, and she comes to some of our events. I met Pat recently, and she believes now that the benefits of our software would require 20 people to replace what she's achieved. So you've got the technology in terms of cloud ready, you've got an exec team that really believe and drive that vision, and then you've got a CEO that actually goes and proves it really is possible for everyone. So I think it's a great vision.
It is, absolutely. The point you made about the charity in Ghana, what they've been able to do, that's essentially streamline the work of 20 people. That's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, and that's, you see the passion come through when he describes that, and having Pat at some of our events, who's the founder, is also a very powerful message when you hear it from the founder of the organisation.
I think Vasion is probably best known for its mature cloud-native PrintIT platform, which of course in 2020 became part of the wider Vasion Automate platform. In terms of the print management piece, what are the key USPs of Vasion Print?
Again, I've been in the industry almost, probably as long as you, and it's quite a significant change. In my previous roles, I was used to working with some large customers, enterprise customers, global customers, but the scale in Vasion has blown me away. So suddenly, I'm now looking after EMEA, but I have customers with 20,000 print devices. So the cloud native architecture, is very scalable. We have customers with 2 or 3 printers, up to, in the US, over 100,000 printers. So the scale is phenomenal. It's also very agile, and it's also very cost effective. So print is key. Although we've moved into Automate and we have other products now, we have like a multi-tier product with ERP printing, and we have the ability now to do digital workflow, electronic content management and forms. You're right to focus that print is still really important. It's not going away. We are continuing evolving the print side of the product, and we have now 13,800 customers globally that really have invested in that core product.
I think for me, one of the key things about the Vasion Print piece is that you can, I think what you commonly refer to, it's able to manage the unmanaged. So in terms of the standalone printers that maybe aren't connected to customers' MPS contracts, but which are obviously for a reseller an opportunity to capture more revenue and to manage those printers, that's quite a standout piece for me as well.
Yeah, very good key point. Thank you for prompting me on that. In my past role, I was used to manage print services, and we looked at MFPs, and quite often you look at the entire print fleet. We were capturing 30%, maybe more, maybe less, of the entire print infrastructure. At Vasion, we capture all print devices. And that's a key differentiator. Another point that was again fairly new to me when I joined the company is we are doing direct IP printing. So if for whatever reason you lost connection to the internet, you couldn't connect to the platform, you're still able to print. So that's where the scalability comes in. If the product, if there was a break in connection, the product still works. So very scalable, captures all print devices, and very resilient.
You've touched a little bit on Vasion has broadened its focus beyond just the print piece in terms of document management, document capture, digital e-forms, digital signatures. How are you looking to scale the business, in particular to deliver on your goal to become a channel-led business? You've talked about your global customer base, which is huge and massive. But I know the direction now is to make that much more channel-centric and channel-focused to ultimately become channel-led.
In the US, we're already far more channel-led. 80% of our business in the US is through the channel. In EMEA and APAC, far less, probably around 40%. But our sole drive here and focus is to be channel-led. We're looking to onboard partners, and we're looking to grow and scale through the channel. We have a structure which again is slightly different to what I'm used to, where our account executives are happy to fulfill deals direct or through the channel. And often we prefer to go through the channel because there are already arrangements and there are already relationships in place. So there's no conflict within our organisation. So we're really driving heavily down the channel route. And when we move into workflow, electronic forms, digital signatures, and the broader portfolio that we now have, we're going to rely on the expertise and the professional services of partners. It's not an area that we want to focus on. We'd like to fulfill that through our channel partners.
We've said that Vasion's 13,000 global customers. So you've got years and years of experience in managing customers in all sectors of all sizes with different needs. So you will probably, or how will you leverage that experience to support the channel to capitalise on the opportunity to serve customers and get stickier with customers to provide more around their needs, their digital transformation needs that goes just beyond the print management?
I had first-hand experience last week. We had a customer and partner event at our new office in Frankfurt. Our exec team from the US were over for the week, and we regularly have customer councils or partner councils where the customers and the partners can give us direct feedback, and they're talking directly to. I hosted the event with our CEO and our CTO, and that's opened up links where I now have customers and partners this week directly emailing them with recommendations or feedback that goes into the product, so it benefits everyone. So we're truly customer centric, and we have a board that engage and roll their sleeves up. Corey this year, CTO, has probably been on a dozen of my customer calls. So he wants to listen, he engages, he wants to understand what the challenges are, what the key problems are. And as you say, it's 13,800 customers now. I got told last week we're growing by 11 customers a day. All of that knowledge and experience, being very customer centric, is being fed back into the product, which will benefit the channel and our partners.
So it sounds obviously right from the top down that partner engagement piece is really important. But sort of stepping back a bit, how easy is it to deploy the Vasion platform? Will it need partners, new skill? Will they need to upskill, invest in new teams, new expertise? Or is it, because it's cloud native, is it quite a simple?
Very, very simple. And there's the multi-products. So, but if we looked at the core product, Vasion Print, we're rolling out to a customer in the US, which is over 100,000 devices. They originally planned to deploy over, I believe, 18 months to 2 years. They found how easy it was to deploy. They started rolling out 10,000 devices a week. So the scalability and the ease of rolling out is phenomenal. But I don't want to forget the smaller, the lower end of the customers. It's scalable. So we're talking about 5, 10, 25 machine device customers as well. it can be installed in I'm going to say minutes, and obviously if we scale, there's generally a little bit more planning and control around how that's rolled out, but very easy to deploy. When you move into other products like our advanced security add-on, then you're dealing with vendors' hardware, firmware. There's some more complexity, but still very easy to roll out. We just have to factor in the hardware, which is an unknown element to us. We're now looking at Vasion output, where we can deal with ERP systems and print. So again, the product's easy to deploy, but there's more complexities in the nature of where we're now working with ERP systems. It's critical print, it can't go down, it will stop businesses working. So very easy to deploy, more consideration as we go up in complexity of the customer's environment.
From what you're saying, because of all these new areas that you can serve, and it's scalable and it's flexible and it's ease of deployment for partners, presumably that's presenting them quite a lucrative revenue potential.
Yeah, it's a very different model to a lot of the traditional print partners, where the page volume can go up and down and it can vary their earnings. This is an annual recurring revenue model, so they can build their ARR year on year. They can add additional services to the model, or they can add additional software to the model by if you like, cross-selling across the wider platform, upselling the licenses they've already sold. But the potential to add services is huge. When we move into content management, electronic forms, workflow, that's where I really believe they're coming to their own in the services they can build around this.
I think there's quite an exciting proposition for channel partners, to get on board with Vasion and adopt the platform. What areas in particular will you look to support them in?
Okay, so I'm working with several partners as we speak at the moment, and although the product and the platform is very simple and intuitive and scalable, we still need to onboard partners, we need to train them, we need to provide them with marketing collateral. So we're investing quite heavily in a partner training program at the moment with Ben Huber in Germany, who's investing his time to make sure that we onboard partners well. We're also working with our marketing teams to make sure that assets and collateral is available that we have. We have a huge amount of collateral that would benefit our partners, so we can co-brand or rebrand those assets to help our partners. And on top of the assets and the rebranding, we can do joint events, joint marketing events. So I'm currently working with several partners to look at how we help them with demand generation and onboard partners. And that's a joint investment in bringing on board new customers or growing their existing customers.
Another key thing I wanted to chat to you about was I believe that Vasion is undergoing the process to achieve FedRAMP certification. Could you explain a little bit more about that?
Yes, we are. And initially I thought very much it's an American certification. It's for the federal government. How's that important to EMEA and Asia Pac? But actually it's very important. This isn't just a certification or a badge. This is a year of development in the US where pretty much 90% of our development team, which is very strong, were rebuilding the code to meet the stringent requirements of the US federal government. So that's 12 months of heavy development work. All the heavy lifting is done. That was completed in December. That then has to go through sponsorship, and we put that forward for the FedRAMP approval, which we're expecting. It's fairly imminent. We're expecting the certification very soon. We believe we're the only manufacturer that's a software vendor, that's gone for that certification. So we will have a print management solution in the cloud. We'll have Vasion Automate in the cloud that will be approved by the US federal government. Why that's important to EMEA customers is, although the FedRAMP version of our software has to remain stable for 12 months, and then the recertification or the reapproval of the updates has to go through FedRAMP again, the code that we've already built that's gone for certification is the same code that all of our EMEA and APAC customers use. So that architecture that is now being built for federal government is in play and in place for every EMEA and APAC customer.
Which really enhances their security posture.
Significantly.
I think it would be remiss not to touch on the hot topic of the moment, AI. AI is everywhere. How does AI play in your offering? And I suppose what plans have you got in place to extend its use?
AI, I felt like I had to go back to school last year. We are on the forefront, I believe, of making AI and leveraging AI and making it easily accessible to people to use within their businesses. So mine's probably many people's only exposure was ChatGPT, and I now use that fairly regularly. But there's a lot more to AI that I've learned in the past 12 months, and we've recently added our own AI engine to our platform. So you've heard of Alexa and Siri. So we now have Vi, which is Vasion AI. So from the print, we're starting with a very simple agent, but from the print element, I'll give you a very simple example. You could now go into Vasion AI, and you could ask and request for a report on all HP printers across my network. Then you could ask Vi to say, actually, I'm looking at the naming syntax. It's inconsistent. Can we rename all devices capital HP, model name, location? And the AI can do that for you. So we're simplifying tasks within print already with AI. So that for me was quite groundbreaking, something I've not seen before, quite new. But the other key element is with the cloud native technology, we've built a platform, and we know we can't be everything to everyone, but we can provide digital solutions that can leverage AI and which the company's AI of choice, or we can recommend best of breed AI applications to pass data into an AI engine, bring it back, do something else with it, go for approval, move it to another AI engine and bring it back. So I'll give you an example of a healthcare organization in the US where it was a manual process where people would check in for a procedure. That's a very simple step, is taking that paper form to a digital form, which we can do within our solution, obtaining their signature, digital solution within our platform. But when that document came in, we then looked at what the medical institution was doing, and they were gathering other notes and taking data from their ERP system on that patient, and then providing that to a consultant that had to then read all that information and make a judgment call on the correct procedure. We now use an AI engine called Comprehend, which will read all of that and create a summary page for that consultant. And that's moving it out and bringing it back in without the end user is almost oblivious. Then when you move further down that process, we looked at, you now need to store that record and keep that information for future reference, and they need to hold it for a certain period of time. But with PII, there's certain information you can't hold. So we had to look at how we remove the PI information and redact it. So we passed that to another AI engine that redacts the document, brings it back in before storing it. All of that is the end user is almost oblivious to that happening. So that's just an example, but we orchestrate. So we can take a business process. There's certain things within the platform we can do, so electronic forms, digital signatures, workflow, but there's things where we can pass documents out, bring them back, and then move them along the workflow. So that's where I think we're leveraging AI and also going to really help us on the journey towards making digital transformation attainable for everyone.
Sounds really exciting, actually, because I think, like you, I feel like I've gone back to school. I'm learning about AI, and my experience is limited to ChatGPT and a little bit of Microsoft Copilot. But I'm finding it quite interesting and fascinating to find out how ISVs and hardware companies, hardware OEMs, are actually incorporating AI, machine learning and LLMs into their products and solutions to make it more intuitive, to make it easier to streamline processes. So I think there's a lot to watch in the future with that.
Certainly is.
Andy, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much. I've learned a little bit more about Vasion, and I'm excited to see where the business goes, particularly in terms of evolving to become more channel-led. I think there's a good split at the moment, and the channel side's growing, and replicating the success you've had in the US amongst the channel.
That's great. Thank you for having me.